So it's been a while since we've done one of these, hasn't it? I'm glad to be going back to Formula and making videos again the way I used to. I figured that the best way to go about it was to get myself back into self-teaching myself how to edit videos, and I think that the best way to go about that is by doing a video that I've had on the shelf for a while. See, the first hit list I ever did was a list of my 6 favorite songs from the past 10 years alone, to kind of limit myself on what I could pick. That video came out 10 years ago. So Dan in the comments actually suggested that I make a new video of the 6 songs that have come out since then that I would put on my favorites list. When I sat down to do this, I wanted to give myself some criteria. I wanted to say that I wouldn't include some songs that I've already talked about, that I would make sure that this list was fresh. But the list of songs that came out immediately happened so fast that it just fit everything I wanted it to. So, without any much more of an introduction, Mr. Jericho, if you don't mind.
You just made the list!
Here are my top 6 songs from the past 10 years alone, as of January 2023. So let's get started with the list proper, and this is going to kind of sound odd, but a lot of my favorite bands are not on this list, even though they've put out songs in the time frame that we're talking about. So, no Iron Maiden, no Sabaton, no Epica, no Nightwish. But there is a Powerwolf song. I still think the review we did for Blessed and Possessed for Powerwolf is one of my favorites that we've put out, but I would have loved to have done one for Call of the Wild, because I feel like that one has some of the most variety and some of the most emphasis on the power aspect of Powerwolf, and no song really emphasizes that more than Dancing with the Dead. And this was put out as a single, and you know how you listen to something and you're immediately just like, I'm going to love this forever the first time you hear the chorus? That was me with this. I find myself getting into some habits with songs that I really like just like involuntary things that I'll do. Every time he says Dancing with the Dead, I have to immediately make this motion. I could be at my desk at work, I could be playing video games, I could be driving, and this will happen. It is not safe, but it's something that I just can't control. I think in terms of the songs that they've put out recently, Powerwolf is just getting better. They are constantly changing and evolving while also staying pretty much the exact goddamn same. And that's everything that I want them to be. I'm actually going to get a chance to see them in February, and I'm really looking forward to that. And if they play this song, I'm going to be in the crowd making this motion. A lot of these songs are going to mean a lot to me personally. A lot of them are going to have some sort of, influential aspect or some really deep connection that I have to them. Others are just really good. My number 1 pick the last time I did a list like this was Scar Symmetry's The Illusionist. And again, I did not really have a strong connection to it. I didn't have a personal story behind it, but I just knew a great song when I heard it. And that's exactly how I feel about Ord and Ogun's Gunmen. I think Gunmen is one of the most fun metal albums that I've heard in a really long time. Their other albums have been great, and they theme them out like crazy, but I honestly think that just the opening, middle, and the entire song here is just so much fun in their own way. Ord and Ogun's just a consistently good band. And this is, I think, their definitive sound if you want to show them to other people. Because just that introduction with the crazy synth and the guitars and that chugging riff that kicks in with the drums is so good. And Ord and Ogun's choruses are always really powerful, really strong. And I think that this is just honestly the best representation of their sound. It's also just fun as hell to listen to. So there's no moment in my life that really connects to this, but it's still great. As I get older, I find myself kind of falling into a pattern where I write off bands that I used to love, saying that I don't think they'll ever put out something that's worth listening to again, only to be vastly corrected and brought back into the fold. Like, I hated everything In Flames put out after The Quiet Place, and then they made Eye of the Mask, and pulled me right back in. Megadeth has this really crazy pattern of amazing, terrible, amazing, terrible, amazing, terrible. So like a lot of metal fans, and metal snobs in particular, I was in a time in my life where I needed to like Metallica again. Come unto me, and you will feel perfection. Come unto me, and dedicate. Let me start out by saying this is not really comparable to anything they put out pre-Black Album. It's still not as great as their other stuff, but it's as close as we're gonna get. And really all they needed to do that was to incorporate what we love about early Metallica. The aggression, the speed, the craziness of some of the solos and bridges and sections. It's really a fantastic song on its own. Then you throw in a fun music video, and I'm like, where has this Metallica been? If there's one person who's going to disagree with me, it's literally anybody who's a drummer, because I'm not a drummer. And I can still hear in the mix that there are some sounds there that are sticking out and really going off pace. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I wanted a Metallica song that really focused on everything I loved about them. I wanted Kirk Hammett to do crazy solos again. I wanted James to sound like he really is pushing it when he screams. I wanted aggression. I wanted sounds. I wanted Rob Trujillo to sound like he was contributing. And I got all of that with this song. If we get more stuff like this, that's amazing. And I'd really be up for it. If we don't, at least we got the best track off of Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So I started a TikTok like 2 years ago, just for fun. And it picked up a lot of ground. It's got like a couple million likes, which is unnecessary. I do not put a lot of effort into them. I just kind of speak into a camera and then tilt it back and forth. Thank you to everybody who follows, but one thing that I absolutely love that's come out of it is that bands that I've talked about have actually commented or reached out. Herman Lee from Dragon Force actually did a reaction for one of my videos. Alice Cooper reposted one of mine. One of the guys from Allegiant actually commented on one of the videos I did on their band. So I got to tell him personally, through text, how much I loved Proponent for Sentience. I'm gonna start off by saying, like, I'm not a big prog metal guy. I don't understand a lot of the technical aspects of playing. I can't play guitar worth a damn. I've never taken a music theory class, and a lot of prog metal bores me. But I can understand when something takes a lot of technique and a lot of talent to play. And the third song in their Proponent for Sentience trilogy, The Extermination, is just so good. I already loved everything about this song. I love the constant crazy guitar solos. I love the pounding drums that were timed so perfectly for every beat. But also, they kind of kicked it up another notch by throwing in Bjorn Street. So you throw in the singer for Soilwork and Night Flight Orchestra, and immediately, I'm going to love this song. That's just a fact. And his addition to it is not overpowering. It really doesn't hide the strengths of the actual band Allegiant, and it just adds just enough. Allegiant's gone through a lot of different changes over the years. They used to be like riding the crabcore side of things, but also they really throw a lot of crazy technical stuff into their songs, and it's really worth listening to. So I highly recommend their stuff, especially Proponent for Sentient. Alright, so for a lot of these songs I've kind of focused on technical prowess or bands that are like legendary in their field or standouts, and I want to talk about something very important. 9 times out of 10, I will not care how much talent it takes to play a song. I care about how fun it is to listen to. So... Korpiklani has been kind of hit or miss with their albums. They're either really boring or really fun. But Nwata is definitely my favorite. Front to back, I think it's just one of the most fun things I've ever heard. And it starts off with 2 of their most fun tracks, and one of them is Vina Mind Mias, which is a song that I listen to so religiously that if I would sing it in my car, people would think, oh, you're learning Finnish. And I would go, no, I just really like singing along to this. I'm a man with the blood. The plan is to push as much as I can. The song gained a little bit more popularity when they made a music video for it, and they translated it into English, so now it's called Man with a Plan. And I used to have a t-shirt that actually had the lyrics for the chorus printed on the back of it. I outgrew it because I'm fat. You can chant along to the hey hey heys if you don't know the words. And also, there's just an amazing violin solo at the end. And if you don't think metal songs should have stuff like violin solos, get the hell out of here. I like having fun. Alright, time for reviewer gets serious time, I guess. This is not going to be an original take, but the pandemic was not good for me. I lived alone in a basement apartment, and for 4 months I only left to get food and liquor. I lost a job that I loved very much. I developed some social and mental issues that I'm still dealing with today. And I fell into a depression, the likes of which I had never had before. And when things got pretty low, I reached back into my music catalog and I tried to listen to music to kind of deal with it, and it didn't help for a long time. And then a couple of months into the pandemic, an album came out, and I don't want to sound this cliche and I don't want to sound this sappy, but I legitimately think it saved my life. Unleash the Archers, just for what the album Abyss did for me, has got to place very highly on my list of my favorite bands. Because I listen to this religiously. Front to back, still think it is one of the greatest albums of all time. And when I first listened to it all the way through, there were a couple songs that really stuck out for me. I'd heard Abyss over and over again. Soulbound was a great song, but I found a couple songs that were really, really impactful for me. And the one that helped me the most was The Wind That Shapes the Land. All of Unleash the Archers albums have this theme going through them, mostly telling stories about something called the Immortal. It's basically a creature that lives forever and serves various powerful monsters and demons and heroes and what have you. And in the context of the album Abyss, The Wind That Shapes the Land is the song that plays when the Immortal finally breaks free and attacks, fighting for its own freedom. And out of context, the lyrics for the song are still some of the most supportive and self-driving and just genuinely motivational things I've ever heard in my life. Like, if you want to feel like you have some sort of inner power, you need a line like, "I am the wind that shapes the land, old as time and twice as strong."
Like a man.
are not a lot of songs on this list that I could say were as influential to me in the past couple of years. Because I didn't need songs that helped me to grow or develop. I didn't need songs to help me establish what I liked about heavy metal like I did on the last list. I needed songs that emphasized everything that I love about the genre. And emphasized everything that I love about music. And nothing really does that for me more than every track off of Unleash the Archer's Abyss, but mostly The Wind That Shapes the Land. And in 2021, when we were able to return to society and go to concerts again, the first show that I saw back was Unleash the Archers when they came to New York. And I got to stay in the crowd and I got to enjoy this song. And I got to go backstage afterwards and I got to tell them personally how much it meant to me. So there's no other song I could possibly put on the top of this list. And that's the God's honest truth.
I've nothing without sacrifice.
And that'll do it for this edition of the Hit List. Thank you guys for watching as usual. We'll be back to doing these on the regular every couple of weeks. And also, all the other videos are going to pick up in production for Shred Shack, so you can expect some more grilling videos, some more Let's Plays, a couple of more actual album reviews, and we'll be jumping in on those soon. Thank you guys as always, and remember, life's too short to listen to bad music. I felt good, but I still feel stupid not including stuff like Night Flight Orchestra and Black Star Riders. I'm going to end up doing a list from my favorite rock songs of the past 10 years, aren't I?